The stars twinkled peacefully in the vast darkness of space as the human exploration vessel Horizon drifted near the edge of known space. Captain Tom Reed stood at the bridge window, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. 20 years of space exploration had taught him to trust his gut. And right now, his gut was screaming that something was different. "Captain," called Jane, his sensor officer, her voice cutting through the quiet hum of the bridge. "We're picking up something strange. It's big." Reed walked to her station, his boots making soft sounds against the metal floor. The sensor display showed a massive object moving towards them, its energy signature unlike anything they'd ever seen. "Full stop," Reed ordered, his voice calm despite the tension building in his chest. "Ready all systems, but keep weapons powered down. Let's not start a war today." The crew worked quickly, their movements precise and practiced. They had trained for first contact scenarios, but this was real. This was history in the making. The alien ship appeared suddenly, as if stepping out from behind an invisible curtain. It was beautiful in a strange way, all smooth curves and shimmering metals that seemed to change color as they watched. It was easily 10 times the size of the Horizon. "Sir," called Bill from communications, "they're sending us something. It's a universal translation matrix. Should I accept it?" Reed nodded. They had nothing to lose. Their own translation systems were good, but anything that could help prevent misunderstandings would be welcome. The main screen flickered to life, showing a being that looked almost like a tall, thin human made of crystal. Its voice came through clear and musical. "Greetings, vessel of unknown origin. I am High Observer Trell of the Galactic Council. Your presence in this sector was unexpected." Reed stepped forward, straightening his uniform. "I am Captain Thomas Reed of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." The crystalline being tilted its head. "Earth. Ah, the isolated world. We had not expected you to achieve deep space travel for at least another century. Most interesting." Reed couldn't help but smile. "We're full of surprises." "Indeed." Trell's crystal form shimmed slightly. "Our records show your world has suffered multiple extinction-level events, yet your species survived each one. Most remarkable." "We're tough to kill," Reed said simply. "It's kind of our thing." The alien's next words carried a hint of concern. "We have observed your historical records. Your species has survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, massive asteroid impacts, plagues, and even your own nuclear weapons tests. How is this possible?" Reed shrugged. "We adapt. We overcome. We help each other survive. It's what humans do." There was a long pause before Trell spoke again. "Captain Reed, the Council must discuss this development. Your species has achieved space flight centuries ahead of projections, survived events that have wiped out countless other civilizations, and shows remarkable technological growth despite isolation. We need time to process this." "Take all the time you need," Reed replied diplomatically. "We'll be here." As the transmission ended, Reed turned to his crew. They all wore the same expression, a mix of pride and amusement. Humans had just crashed the galaxy's party, and from the sound of it, they had made quite an entrance. In the following hours, Reed wrote his report to Earth Command. He kept it simple. First contact achieved. Alien civilization calls itself the Galactic Council. They seem more worried about us than we are about them. Requesting instructions. P.S. You should see their faces when they learn about our history. Priceless. What Reed didn't know then was that across Council space, a message was already spreading, passed from ship to ship, planet to planet. Warning: new species discovered. Designation: human. Handle with extreme caution. Species shows unprecedented survival capabilities. Further study required before full contact protocols can be established. The age of humanity's isolation was over. The galaxy was about to learn why "we don't kill humans" wasn't just a warning. It was an essential survival tip. The Galactic Council's observation ship, Starlight, hung in orbit above Earth, its advanced cloaking systems making it invisible to human detection. Administrator Val stood at the main viewport, his silvery eyes scanning the planet below. As the lead observer for the Council's assessment team, he had spent the last month watching humans in their natural habitat. What he had seen both amazed and terrified him. "Display latest findings," Val commanded, his voice echoing in the ship's control room. A holographic screen appeared, showing scenes from across Earth. In the frozen wastes of Antarctica, humans lived and worked in research stations, surviving temperatures that would kill most species. In the burning deserts of Africa, they thrived in conditions that should have been uninhabitable. Deep in the oceans, their submarines explored pressures that would crush most Council ships. "Remarkable," muttered Dr. West, the team's chief scientist. "They don't just survive in these conditions, they study them. They actively seek out the most dangerous places on their planet." Val nodded slowly. "Show me the disaster response recordings." The hologram shifted to show scenes from recent natural disasters. A massive earthquake had struck a coastal city, but instead of abandoning the area, humans rushed in to help. They dug through rubble with their bare hands, formed human chains to rescue people from floods, and worked for days without rest to save others. "This behavior defies all known survival instincts," Dr. West said, shaking his head. "Most species run from danger. Humans run toward it to help their fellows." "Play the historical records," Val ordered. The screen showed images from humanity's past. Ice ages, volcanic winters, plagues, wars. Each time, humanity had not just survived, but emerged stronger. They had turned their survival skills into science, their struggles into strength. "Sir," called one of the junior observers, "you need to see this. We just recorded something at their space station." The view changed to show the Human International Space Station. A small fire had broken out in one module. Instead of evacuating, the crew had worked together to contain it, repair the damage, and continue their mission as if nothing had happened. "Add it to the report," Val said quietly. "Council needs to understand what we're dealing with." Dr. West looked troubled. "Sir, what do you think the Council will decide? Containment or membership?" Val stared at the blue planet below. "That's what worries me, Doctor. In all my years as an administrator, I've never seen a species like this. They have no natural defenses, no claws, no armor, no special abilities. Yet they've survived everything their planet has thrown at them. They've turned their weaknesses into strengths. Perhaps that's their special ability," Dr. West suggested. "Adaptation. Innovation. The drive to protect not just themselves but others." Val touched a control panel, bringing up the statistics. "Look at these numbers. They live in temperatures ranging from -60 to +50 degrees. They survive at altitudes from the deepest ocean to the highest mountains. They eat almost anything, build shelters from any material, and can survive injuries that would kill any other known species." The room fell silent as a new message appeared on their screens. The Council had made its decision. Val read it aloud. Assessment results noted. Humanity presents unique case. Species shows unprecedented survival capabilities combined with rapid technological advancement. Standard containment protocols deemed ineffective. Recommendation: further study required. Maintain observation. Prepare for possible diplomatic contact. Dr. West looked confused. "They're not deciding." Val smiled grimly. "They're scared, Doctor. For the first time in Council history, we found a species that might be truly unkillable. The real question isn't whether humans are ready to join the galaxy. It's whether the galaxy is ready for humans." As if to emphasize his point, a massive storm broke out in the atmosphere below them. Through their sensors, they watched as humans not only survived it but went out into it to help others, braving the elements with nothing but their determination and ingenuity. "Document everything," Val ordered. "The galaxy needs to understand. These humans don't just survive. They thrive on challenges, and that makes them the most remarkable and potentially dangerous species we've ever encountered. Marcus wasn't like other council scientists. While his colleagues focused on humanity's technology and biology, he spent his days studying their history. His small office aboard the research station, Knowledge Seeker, was filled with data screens showing Earth's past. Each screen told a different story of human survival, and each story made him more uneasy. "Computer, show me the extinction events again," he said, rubbing his tired eyes. The screens flickered, displaying a timeline of Earth's major disasters. A soft chime announced the arrival of his friend and fellow researcher, Dr. Linda Banks, one of the few humans allowed to work with the council. She carried 2 cups of coffee, a human drink that Marcus had grown quite fond of. "Still at it?" she asked, handing him a cup. "You've been studying these records for weeks." Marcus took a sip before answering. "Something doesn't add up, Linda. Look at this pattern." He pointed to the screens. "Every time your species faced extinction, you didn't just survive. You came back stronger." Linda smiled. "That's just what we do. We adapt." "No," Marcus shook his head. "It's more than that. Computer, show the Mars colony incident." The screens changed to show footage from 6 months ago. A solar storm had hit the human Mars colony with radiation levels that should have been lethal. But instead of dying, the colonists had improvised radiation shields from mining equipment and survived underground for weeks until help arrived. "That should have been impossible," Marcus said quietly. "The radiation levels were beyond survivable limits for any known species. We got lucky," Linda shrugged. "Lucky?" Marcus pulled up more footage, like how your deep-sea colonists got lucky when their pressure dome cracked, or how your asteroid miners got lucky when their life support failed. The odds against surviving any one of these events are astronomical. The odds of surviving all of them. He trailed off, staring at the data. A new alert flashed on his screen. Another incident, this time at a human farming colony on Europa. The environmental systems had failed during an ice storm. The temperature had dropped to levels that should have killed everyone within hours. Instead, the colonists had survived for 3 days by converting their hydroponic gardens into makeshift shelters. "Computer, analyze survival probability," Marcus ordered. The machine responded in its neutral voice. "Probability of survival under recorded conditions, 0.1%. Conclusion: survival should have been impossible." Linda watched the screens thoughtfully. "You know what my grandfather used to say. Humans are like cockroaches. We're really hard to kill." Marcus turned to her sharply. "Cockroaches, insects that can survive radiation, extreme temperatures, even decapitation." He began typing frantically. "Computer, cross-reference human survival capabilities with all known species in the galaxy." The computer worked for several minutes before responding. No exact matches found. Closest parallel: ancient legends of a warrior race created by the precursors, designed to survive any catastrophe. Linda laughed. "You think we're some kind of ancient super soldiers?" Before Marcus could answer, all screens in the office suddenly displayed the same warning. Emergency alert. Human mining station Deep Rock 9 experiencing critical reactor failure. Evacuation impossible. Estimated survival time: 30 minutes. They watched in silence as the disaster unfolded. The reactor was beyond saving. The escape pods were damaged. By all logic, everyone on that station should die. But they didn't. The humans jury-rigged their mining lasers into cutting tools, carved a shelter into a nearby asteroid, and survived for 5 days in pressure suits until rescue arrived. Not a single life was lost. Marcus turned to Linda, his expression serious. "Your people have a saying, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm beginning to think it's more than just a saying for humans. It's coded into your very existence." Linda stared at the screens showing her fellow humans celebrating their impossible survival. For the first time, She began to wonder if there was more to humanity's resilience than mere determination. "Marcus," she said slowly, "what exactly are you suggesting?" He looked at her with a mix of awe and fear. "I'm suggesting, my friend, that humans don't die when the odds say they should. And I need to know why before the Council decides to find out the hard way." Director Pike stood in his private chamber aboard the Council warship Justice, watching the holographic displays of various human colonies. His thin fingers tapped against the polished black surface of his command console. After 3 months of observation, he had made his decision. "Begin Phase 1, he commanded. His second-in-command, Officer Gray, looked uncomfortable. "Sir, the Council hasn't approved these tests." Pike's face hardened. "The Council is afraid. They see humans spreading across space, surviving impossible situations, growing stronger with each challenge. Someone needs to find their breaking point." On the screens, the first accident began. The atmospheric processors on human colony Beta suddenly malfunctioned, flooding the underground facilities with toxic gas. Pike watched, expecting panic and death. Instead, he saw something remarkable. The colonists used mining equipment to seal off sections of the base. They'd rigged their suits to filter the gas. Some even created a makeshift scrubber system using spare parts from their hydroponics bay. Within hours, they had the situation under control. "Impossible," Pike muttered. "Increase the pressure." Over the next week, Pike orchestrated a series of increasingly dangerous accidents across human space. A radiation leak on their lunar base, a critical power failure on their orbital stations, a gravitational anomaly near their Mars colony. Each time, the humans not only survived, but found creative solutions that shouldn't have been possible. They turned storage tanks into emergency shelters, rewired entire power grids with scrap metal, and used mining explosives to stabilize orbital decay. "Sir," Gray reported, reviewing the data, "we've recorded something strange. Each colony that survived our tests. They're showing improved emergency responses. They're learning from these disasters." Pike slammed his fist on the console. "They're not just surviving. They're getting stronger." He pulled up the statistics. "Look at these numbers. Colony Beta's new atmospheric system is 30% more efficient than the original. The lunar base's radiation shielding is now twice as effective. They're turning our attacks into improvements." A new alert flashed on the screen. The Mars colony was experiencing massive dust storms, storms that Pike's ship had secretly generated. But instead of being trapped or killed, the colonists had adapted their mining equipment into terrain vehicles that could navigate the storms. "Director," Gray said quietly, "I've been analyzing their communication patterns during these crises. They don't show normal panic responses. It's almost like they expect to survive." Pike was about to respond when his private channel activated. The face that appeared was one he knew well. Administrator Val. "Director Pike." Val's voice was cold. "Our sensors detect unusual energy signatures near human colonies. Energy signatures that match Council weapons." Pike straightened. "Merely routine exercises." "Don't lie to me," Val cut him off. "We've been watching you. Testing humans. Did you learn nothing from our observations? They don't break under pressure. They grow stronger." "Someone has to find their weakness," Pike insisted. Val's expression turned grim. "You fool. Haven't you read the ancient warnings? There's a reason space-faring races don't attack humans. Those who tried in the past, they aren't around anymore." The screen suddenly filled with new alerts. Every system Pike had manipulated to test the humans was now operating at peak efficiency. The colonies weren't just surviving, they were thriving. They had taken every challenge, every potential disaster, and turned it into an advancement. "Final warning," Director Val said. "Stop these tests immediately, or—" The transmission cut off as alarms blared through Pike's ship. On the screens, he watched in horror as the human colony simultaneously launched new satellites that could detect cloaked Council ships. "Sir," Gray's voice shook slightly. They found us. All the colonies we tested, they worked together. They used our attacks to develop new detection systems. Pike stared at the screens, finally understanding his mistake. He hadn't been testing the humans. They had been learning from him, using his attacks to make themselves stronger. And now they knew exactly where he was. "Send word to the council," he whispered. Tell them I proved the old warning true. We don't kill humans. They only get stronger." Commander James Blake stood in the ancient ruins on Mars, his helmet lights illuminating symbols carved into the stone walls. As head of human security forces, he had been tracking the recent accidents across human colonies. The trail had led him here, to something far older than humanity's presence on Mars. "Run the translation again," he ordered through his suit's comm system. Back on his ship, the Artemis, computers processed the alien text while his team continued scanning the chamber. "Sir," called Tim, his chief archaeologist, "you need to see this." The young scientist's light beam highlighted a section of wall showing strange scenes, various alien species trying to attack what looked like humans, only to be defeated each time. Blake's wrist computer chimed. The translation was ready. "Warning to all who seek conquest. The protected cannot be destroyed. The Cedars made them eternal. Every defeat makes them stronger. Every attack teaches them more. To strike at humans is to forge your own doom." "Commander," his communication officer's voice crackled through the comm. "We're picking up something. It's a signal coming from these ruins. The attacks on our colonies activated." Blake touched the wall gently. As if responding to his touch, the entire chamber hummed to life. Holographic images filled the air, showing scenes from Earth's past. But these weren't the usual historical records. These showed the truth behind humanity's survival. The ice age that should have killed them. Ancient technology buried deep in Earth's core had regulated the temperature just enough to let some humans survive. The plagues that mysteriously burned themselves out. Hidden medical systems had helped humans develop immunities. Every near-extinction event had been carefully managed by invisible guardians. "Cross-reference these records with the recent colony attacks," Blake ordered. The computer displayed two sets of data side by side. The pattern was clear. The same alien race that had tested humanity in the past was trying again. Director Pike hadn't been working alone. He had been manipulated by someone much older. "Sir," Tim called again. "Found something else. Looks like a message, but it's not in any alien language we've seen." The message appeared in Blake's helmet display. Unlike the warnings on the wall, this was written in perfect English. "To our children, humanity. If you're reading this, you've survived long enough to reach the stars. What you thought was luck was our protection. What you called coincidence was our guidance. We are the Cedars, and you are our greatest creation." Blake's team gathered around as more text appeared. "We made you adaptable, resilient, eternal. Other races evolve to fit their environments. You force environments to adapt to you. This is your true strength. Not weapons, not technology, but the unbreakable will to survive, to protect, to thrive." "Commander," his security chief's voice was urgent. "Council ships are approaching Mars. A lot of them." Through the chamber's ancient windows, Blake could see ships appearing in the red Martian sky. But he wasn't worried. The ruins had shown him the truth. Humanity had never been alone, never been helpless. They had been protected until they were strong enough to protect themselves. "Send a message to all colonies," Blake ordered. "Tell them what we found. And send one to the council too." "What should it say, sir?" Blake looked at the ancient warnings again, understanding them fully now. "Tell them we know the truth. We know what we are. And if they want peace, we'll give them peace. If they want war." He paused, watching the holographic images of humanity's guided evolution. "Well, they've already seen what happens to species that try to kill humans." As if responding to his words, the ruins pulsed with energy. Across Mars, similar structures began to emerge from the sand. Across the solar system, ancient guardians awakened. Humanity's protection was no longer passive. It was now in their own hands. Blake smiled inside his helmet. Send them one last message. We don't kill humans. We never have. And now, you know why. Administrator Val stood in the Council's great chamber, surrounded by representatives from 100 alien races. The evidence discovered in the Martian ruins played on the massive screens above them. No one spoke. No one dared. So, the Council leader finally broke the silence. Humans are not a natural species. They are weapons, living weapons created by the Seeders themselves. Val stepped forward. Not weapons. Leader. Survivors. The Seeders didn't create them to destroy. They created them to endure. The screen showed more images from the ruins, the hidden systems that had protected Earth, the carefully guided evolution, the countless times humanity had been saved from extinction not by luck, but by design. And now they know. Director Pike spoke from his position in the accused box. His failed tests had led to this emergency meeting. We've woken something that was meant to stay sleeping. As if to prove his point, new data streamed into the chamber. The ancient ruins weren't just on Mars. They were everywhere humans had colonized. Each structure was awakening, sharing its knowledge with humanity. Display the Seeder's final message, Val commanded. The screens change, showing the text found in the Martian chamber. To those who would harm our children, know this. Every civilization that tried to destroy humanity has vanished. Not because humans killed them, but because they destroyed themselves trying to kill the unkillable. Linda Banks, now serving as humanity's first ambassador to the Council, walked to the center of the chamber. We've accessed more of the ruins data. The Seeders didn't just make us strong, they made us teachers. She gestured, and new images appeared. They showed ancient civilizations learning from humans, growing stronger by working with them instead of against them. Those that survived were the ones that had chosen cooperation over conflict. The Seeders are gone, Linda continued, but they left us with more than just survival skills. They left us with a purpose, to help other species learn to endure, to adapt, to grow stronger. Director Pike laughed bitterly from his box. And what about my tests? The accidents I caused? Did those serve some grand purpose too? Linda smiled. Actually, yes. Every colony you tested has developed new safety protocols. Every system you tried to break is now stronger. You didn't weaken us. You helped us grow. The Council leader raised a hand for silence. The question remains, what do we do with this knowledge? How do we proceed knowing that humans are what they are? Val stepped forward again. We've been asking the wrong question. It's not about what we do with humans. It's about what we can learn from them. The chamber erupted in conversation. Some representatives argued for containment, others for alliance. But deep down, they all knew the truth. You couldn't contain something designed to survive anything. We offer you a choice, Linda addressed the Council. Work with us. Learn from us. Let us teach you what the Seeders taught us. How to adapt, how to endure, how to grow stronger from every challenge. The Council leader studied the images of ancient civilizations, those that had fought humans and vanished, and those that had learned from them and thrived. The choice was clear. Very well, the leader announced. Let it be recorded. The species known as humans are hereby recognized as the inheritors of the Seeders' legacy. They are not our enemies. They are our teachers. As the declaration was made, more ruins activated across the galaxy. The Seeders had planned for this moment, waiting until humanity was ready to take their place as guides rather than weapons. Val watched as Linda shook hands with the Council leader, sealing the historic agreement. He thought about all the civilizations that had feared humanity's strength, never understanding its true purpose. We don't kill humans, he muttered the old warning, finally understanding its deeper meaning. Because they weren't made to die. They were made to help others live. 1 year after the revelation of humanity's true nature, Earth had become something no one could have predicted. A school for survival. Captain Tom Reed, who had made first contact with the Council, now stood at the observation deck of the newly built Galactic Academy of Survival and Adaptation, watching ships arrive from across the galaxy. Another group from the Centauri sector, his AI assistant, reported. They're particularly interested in learning about mining in extreme conditions. Reed smiled, remembering how those same mining techniques had saved human colonies during Pike's tests. Send them to Colony Beta. They've become our best teachers for that. Below, Earth had transformed. The old Council observation posts were now training centers. Former military bases had become schools of innovation. Every human colony, from Mars to Europa, now hosted alien students eager to learn the art of survival. In his private office at the Academy, Marcus sat with Linda Banks, reviewing the latest results. The screen showed remarkable progress. Species that had once barely survived routine space travel were now exploring dangerous worlds, using techniques learned from humans. Look at this, Linda pointed to a report. The crystal beings from Proxima can now survive in liquid environments. They said it was impossible, but after studying how humans adapted to deep-sea conditions, Marcus nodded. And the gas-based life forms from the Orion Belt, they're using modified versions of our pressure suits to explore solid planets. We're not just teaching survival, we're opening up whole new worlds to these species. The door chimed, and Administrator Val entered, accompanied by the reformed Director Pike. After his failed tests, Pike had become one of the strongest advocates for human teaching methods. The Council's annual review is complete, Val announced. The Human Protection Act has been upgraded to the Galactic Education Initiative. Every species now has the right to learn from human instructors. Pike walked to the window, watching a group of alien students practicing emergency repairs on a spacecraft. I spent so much time trying to find ways to kill humans, he said quietly. I never imagined I'd spend the rest of my life learning from them instead. An alert flashed on the main screen. A distress signal from a distant sector. A solar storm was threatening a new colony. In the past, such news would have caused panic. Now, it was a teaching opportunity. Send in the emergency response team, Reed ordered. And make sure to bring students. There's nothing like a real crisis for hands-on learning. The response was immediate. Ships launched from Earth, carrying mixed crews of humans and aliens. The humans would guide, teach, and demonstrate their survival techniques in real time. The students would learn not just how to survive, but how to help others survive too. In the Council chamber, now relocated to Earth's orbit, the leader addressed the annual gathering. 1 year ago, we discovered that humans were created by the Seeders. We feared they were weapons. Instead, they have become our greatest teachers. The chamber erupted in agreement. The old warning, "We don't kill humans," had taken on a new meaning. It was no longer a caution born of fear, but a reminder of a simple truth. Why try to destroy something when you can learn from it instead? Reed left the Academy's observation deck and walked through the crowded halls. Aliens of all forms studied alongside humans, learning everything from basic survival skills to advanced adaptation techniques. In one room, students learned how to survive extreme temperatures. In another, they practiced improvising tools from limited resources. Captain, a young alien student, stopped him. Is it true what they say? That humans can survive anything? Reed thought about humanity's long journey. From protected species to galactic teachers. We can survive most things, he said with a smile. But more importantly, we can teach others to survive too. That's what makes us truly special. As night fell on Earth, the lights of countless training facilities lit up the planet like stars. Humanity had found its true purpose, not just to survive, but to help others survive. Not just to endure, but to teach others to endure. The Seeders' great experiment had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. Their children had become not just survivors, but guardians of life itself. And across the galaxy, on every world and every ship, the old warning had become a promise. We don't kill humans. We learn from them.